Welcome to Landria Onkka on YouTube, here to help you break through fears and live an awesome life. You can do it. Why I believe law of attraction doesn't work for most people. I hear this, and I see and hear thousands of comments, and I'm hearing that law of attraction doesn't work. Well, first of all, let me say that law of attraction does work. But here's why I believe it may not be working for you. I want to explain when I say that I don't believe in law of attraction. I don't believe in the words we're using to describe what's happening. And that when we use the words law of attraction, we're believing in our head that there's something outside of us that we need to do certain things to draw to us. Now, I want to explain something to you, because if you can think of it this way and maybe stop thinking of the law of attraction as something that we attract, things we attract to ourselves, we have to be and do certain things and something comes to us. I don't believe that anything has to come to you. I believe that everything exists right now and is just a frequency. The material world is made up of various vibrational let's just objects, things, of which we are also. But our frequency is where our reality lies. In other words, if you're on a higher frequency, you're going to see the world differently. You're going to experience things differently. Why is that? All right, so I'm going to explain exactly what I mean. Now, I'm not going to go into quantum physics because, first of all, I'm not an expert at that, but I do hear what's going on out there that's mind-blowing for us. And I believe and know that everything is absolutely connected. All right, there's no time delay in anything. You are the very energy that you are controlling. And you get to manipulate it according to your free will. What does that mean? You get to choose what you do in this body, in this expression, this energy expression that you are as a human, which means that you get to decide what frequency you're on. You can stay in a lower frequency and suffer and struggle, and maybe you're going to gain some valuable lessons from that. Or you can decide that you're going to ascend in this lifetime, raise your frequency. So let's imagine something right now that may help you to think more clearly about what that means and how you can get to that reality where the things that you desire exist. Now, I'm not talking about getting to a reality where the big car and the fancy car and the big home exist. That is definitely a frequency, but it could possibly be a lower frequency. So I want you to be very cognizant of that. Not that there's anything wrong with that, because we do learn from that. But if you go to a lower frequency, if you're wanting just the things, chances are pretty good your ego believes that the material world will make it happy. And that's a lower frequency. So I'm talking frequencies right now, not getting stuff. I'm talking about how you feel, what is available to you, all probabilities, where there is a house and a brand new car somewhere within those frequencies. Well, let's talk about that. Let's imagine that we all come here. Well, this is not the case, but let's imagine we all come here in a certain frequency, the lowest frequency, which is probably not far from the truth, because we did come into dense human bodies. Now, we are all part of massive energy. We are not these bodies, all right? But our energy frequency, because we've come into these bodies, puts us into first level. Again, just getting you to do a vision here, a visual. This is not really how it works. Some people come here with higher frequencies, but let's say we're all on the first floor. And in the thing that you desire, that ideal mate, that healthy relationship, that happy lifestyle, abundance, all of these things that you desire, healthy relationships, are on different floors because they're different frequencies, all right? So I'm just going to use that right now because I'm going to talk here in a minute about what that all means. So let's say you want the ideal relationship in the first floor where it's a lower frequency. People aren't nice to each other, and they're very ego-driven, and so, it's all about me, and they're not giving, so there's a lot of struggle and stress because, when you're in a place where there's not giving and people are worried and concerned about themselves, it's a lower frequency. So in order to get out of that. So let's say you meet, and every time you're in a loving relationship, it's not so loving because that person wants what they want. They won't want you to stop acting a certain way. They don't want you to work, or she doesn't like it when you talk to other women, and she's insecure. You know, all this crazy stuff goes on that level, all right, that frequency. That woman or man that's ideal for you, that loves you, that respects you, that gives you freedom, that is not threatened, that would never harm you, and puts you first, is on a different frequency. They're up on the 8th floor. Now, in order for you to meet that person, you don't attract them. I will sit here on the 1st floor and think about them, and they're going to come down. No, if they come down to your level, your 1st floor, they're going to be a 1st floor frequency. You don't want that. You got to get on that elevator and go up to the 8th floor. How do you do that? It's powered by your frequency. All right, so when you get on, you don't just push the button. You have to use your frequency to move that elevator up. So you have to believe and know that you also must be in that frequency of the 8th floor loving relationship, which is giving, cares about others first, is not insecure, is loving beyond your imagination. That must be your frequency in order to go there and maintain that. A lot of people, we get there and we don't maintain it. We go back into old habits and stuff. We wonder why our relationships break up. The frequencies are mismatched. So you get on this elevator and you meditate and you go into this space and you realize you do deserve a loving relationship. You do deserve respect, and that you're going to give respect, and that you can't wait to really care about someone else way beyond the physical world. And so you get into this wonderful euphoric state of mind, your frequency raises, and the elevator starts to move and move and move and move, and maybe it stops at the 3rd or 4th floor. You get off for a while, and because you can't power it up to the 8th, and you meet a few people and they're really nice, but they're still not quite there, and then you break up because they weren't completely a great match. Maybe somebody was wonderful but a little controlling, or whatever it is. So you get back in the elevator and you go, no, I know that person's up on the 8th floor. I know they're there. And so you get yourself into that higher frequency, and you work on it and you work on it, and the elevator starts to power up, goes to the 8th floor, opens up, and there he or she is standing and says, finally, you made it here. And then you are on the frequency of that person. You didn't attract them. And you don't want to be on a high frequency attracting somebody in a lower frequency. They can't be attracted to you because that doesn't exist in your reality. They don't exist in your reality. And if they came into your reality, it's not because you attracted them, because you wouldn't attract a lower frequency. If you do, you wouldn't hang out with it, right? People used to say, wow, Landria, you're always with these amazing guys. I said, I always get the crazy people. I said, no, I get the crazy people too. I just don't date them, right? So it's all a choice. So I am in the world with all these other frequencies, but you're never going to stay with any of those frequencies that are not on yours. Right? Because you want to create a different reality. Yours is a different reality. That's why so many of you are getting divorces, losing jobs, quitting jobs, making big changes in your careers and your physical lives, like where you live and things like that. Why? Because there are shifts going on right now that you're feeling. Your frequency's changing, and things don't match, and it seems like a bad thing because we're told that change is a bad. Oh, losing a house or a relationship or job's bad. It's change. It's neither good nor bad. You get to decide if it serves you well, right? And it always does. It really does. So a frequency for me is just raising your own to create that reality, and what is in that reality with that other frequency is like frequencies. You're not attracting them. You are going into that frequency of which those other realities exist with you. So somebody else's reality and yours would be a perfect match. They are in your world because you guys are on the same frequency. Now, when you say, okay, well then wait a second, how come with these, nasty people or whatever's happening to me? Because there are lessons to be learned so that you can raise your frequency. So somewhere in there, that is a purposeful relationship for you in your frequency so that you can raise yours, or you can stay in this one. You can stay in that frequency and really suffer from it, which is your lower frequency, being a victim. So you think that you're, oh my gosh, I'm a nice person, all this stuff. But if you're still taking this abuse or being a victim or whatever, you're still on the lower frequency. Doesn't mean you're a bad person. It means that you are not on that high frequency of total bliss and freedom, total faith, and allowing everything to be exactly as it should be. It's all designed for you. You're doing it. So don't think for a minute that stuff's happening to you. It's absolutely for your ability to raise your frequency. Sitting there meditating all day isn't going to attract a darn thing to you. Meet that frequency. Be in that reality. Be that frequency, and you will be in the room with things that are amazing. So maybe the crazy people, and I don't like to use that term, but cray-cray, in a fun way, it's always going to be in the room because we chose this planet until we all ascend. But the other people on the higher frequency all of a sudden will be aware of you, and vice versa, because that energy is being put out and you're matching. So they're going to come over and talk to you, or that person's going to offer you that job, or an opportunity is going to arise. For me, it was I moved to a completely different town that I never even knew about. Never even knew about this. Made a decision in 1 week, moved to a place that I never knew the first thing about. Why? I just felt it. The frequency was there. The people that I was meeting, when I was looking at homes, it played out perfectly, exactly the way it was supposed to, and I went with it. Why? I was on the frequency, and I didn't fear it. When I was in that frequency, I didn't start to doubt and fear. Because when you do that, you lower your frequency and those opportunities will fall away. Somebody wondered why they didn't get the house that they wanted. It was perfect. The owner didn't want them to have it. They gave it to somebody else. Somewhere you fell out of that frequency, neither good nor bad. It just wasn't a good frequency match for you. So instead of accepting that, then we battle it. Instead of having the faith knowing that there is a perfect place for you. But if you continue to battle that, then you go down in a lower frequency, not wishing well for the people who did get it, and the owner who chose that persons, and then you go to a lower frequency of me, ego, I should have had it, why don't I have it? And then you're focused on that instead of the higher frequency of, oh, I have another place that's going to show up. I'm going to relax. It's going to show up when it's supposed to, not when I dictate it. And it's really tough for us to do that. It's tough for us to get off on that 3rd floor and experience what's on there to learn so that we can get back on the elevator and power it up to the 4th and 5th and make our way up to the 8th and beyond. There's no ending to that. So if you power up your elevator and you have to get off of the floor and you are experiencing things there that are unpleasant, know that they are designed for you to learn more. You're a student in a classroom, right? Learn so that you can, all right, I've got patterns, I've got negative thinking, I don't have faith, and then you take a good look at yourself and say, these have all been barriers and blocks for me to power up my elevator. And then you finally get it, and you get on the elevator and say, none of that exists. Those are stories in my head. Nobody's a threat to me. All these things do have a positive meaning. I'm never a victim. Where did I get that from? Well, collective consciousness on this planet's a little bit dense, okay? We still have that stuff. We got to break through it, break through the fear. I hope this helped. So when people say, law of attraction, it's the same thing. Well, everything is the same thing. You're right. It's the term of law of attraction that I point out could be you thinking that you have to do something to get something to come to you and attract. And I believe that's where we get very disappointed and it doesn't work for us. because we believe that we can sit there and do some kind of technique and get something to come to us, that if it's not on your frequency, it's impossible. It's impossible. It's not even in your reality. So go in, you get the free will. Free will means you get to go into that reality, go into that frequency, experience those things. You're the one going into the like. And those like-minded, like people will be there. So if you think of that as attraction, great. But you're still having to raise your frequency into the like frequency. And that's you doing it, not you attracting it, you going into it. I hope this makes sense, and maybe if you can think of it that way, you can still use the term law of attraction, because yes, it is all quantum physics, but, and here's, I don't like buts on my channel, but if you can think of it more like I must go into that frequency, what is that frequency that thing I want to attract, what is that frequency in? Confidence, kindness, compassion. It's not ego driven. So wait a minute, I'm still over here not behaving that way or thinking that way. So let's work on this, get this frequency up, and then voila, you'll attract it. You're getting on your elevator, you're powering up, you're going straight up to the top. It's possible, you can do it. Don't be afraid to get off those other floors. There's a lot of really valuable things and lessons there. All right, you're whole and perfect, strong and powerful, loving, harmonious, and happy. Another advanced class, my friend. Let's keep it going. Namaste.